Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the installment of Scott's Selections here for Friday, November 6th. Before we get into today's play of the day, quick recap of what happened yesterday. We ended up having two plays in college football, and we ended up splitting those two. We won Nevada minus 16. They were able to take care of business against Utah State. Utah State scored 9 points in the first quarter, got shut out for the other three, lost by 20-something points, so we got an easy winner there. We ended up getting a loss with Wyoming minus 6.5 at plus 102 on FanDuel. Got a pretty solid number, but unfortunately, Wyoming just fell behind early thanks to a pick six. Had some turnovers. Really, it was just a sloppy game by them, and they couldn't stop O'Brien through the air, so we ended up splitting those two plays. But looking at the card for today on Friday, I know that we usually talk about either some college football going on or the UFC for the weekend. And since we haven't done the UFC yet, we're going to be doing that now. So this will be the UFC show, as the card will be taking place tomorrow. Now, for this one, I know we've switched off between doing one play on a fight. We've done parlays. We've done multiple fights. And for this one, we are going to be doing multiple fights. It's only going to be two plays, but there is going to be a two-pick parlay in there. So you should keep that in mind. Now, last week, we ended up winning our only UFC play. We took Mitchell to win by submission or decision, and he ended up winning his fight by decision. So we picked up a nice winner there. Now, for the two plays here, we're going to start out with the straight bet here, and it's going to be a method of victory, and it will be in a matchup between Romanov and De Lima. And for this fight, we like Romanov to win by submission at plus 155 on FanDuel, a time recording of 1:45 a.m. Eastern Time. A couple reasons why I like Romanov in this fight. First of all, we ended up backing Romanov in his last fight as he ended up destroying Roque Martinez in his UFC debut as he won by second-round submission. So far in his career, he is 12-0 with 7 wins by submission, 5 by knockout, 6'2", 261 in the heavyweight division. He should be a pretty solid contender in the future. I don't know if he's actually going to be contending for a title, but he should be ranked within the next couple of years. He's very talented, and I think he should be able to showcase his ground skills in this one. Meanwhile, he will be going up against De Lima. Now, De Lima has been in the UFC for a while, all the way since 2014. He's been in 9 UFC fights. He's 5-4 overall. However, there is one trend that has been pretty noticeable in his losses, which is that all 4 UFC losses he has had have come by submission. So for me, it's a perfect storm here. Romanov specializes in the submission offense, and De Lima has really, really bad submission defense, which is shown by his results in the UFC. I think Romanov should take it early. I think he should be able to get it to the ground. The issue is, if Romanov takes it to the ground, can De Lima get up? And my answer to that is simply no. I think Romanov should be able to use some transitions, do what he normally does, and to win, most likely by some type of arm triangle or maybe even a rear naked choke, forearm choke, something like that. But he tends to specialize in those type of really, really solid groundwork, and I think that will translate well against De Lima, whose submission defense has been lackluster in his UFC career. At plus 155, definitely a great deal considering the fact that Romanov in this actual fight is roughly a minus 400 favorite. He opened up a minus 280. Now he's up to roughly minus 400. You can get his preferred method of outcome of victory, I should say, by submission at plus 155. So you're saving over $5 of value if Romanov ends up sticking to his usual game plan. I think that's great value. I think that line probably should be closer to even around plus 110 to minus 110, something like that. So plus 155, good deal. It's mostly available market-wide at plus 140, but you can find it at plus 155 on FanDuel, and that will be the first play of the UFC card. Now, the second play is going to be a two-pick parlay. It's going to be on one money line and one total. We're going to be starting out with the total, and we'll be in a fight between Gedalia and Jan, and we like the over 2.5 here at minus 290 on FanDuel. First of all, pretty solid value at the minus 290. I know that sounds crazy, but market-wide, the fight to go over 2.5 is roughly minus 330. So you're already saving roughly 40 cents of value there if you use FanDuel. The reasons why there has been a lot of juice to the over is because of the fact that both these fighters specialize by way of decision. Looking at Gedalia in her recent fight, she is the decision queen, as she has gone to decision in 13 of her 22 her career MMA fights. If you look at her recent results, each of her last 4 fights have gone to decision. So each of her last 5 fights have gone to decision, and 9 of her last 10 have gone to decision. So she has been known to go to decision a lot, and she's going up against Jan, who is pretty similar in the sense that Jan so far in her UFC career is 5-0, with all 5 wins coming by unanimous decision. So this fight's going to be 3 rounds. I think both fighters should once again look to do some damage on the feet. Gadelha might transition late to some ground attacks because that's kind of her specialty, but she has transitioned more into a stand-up fight over the last couple of appearances. But you're looking at 9 of her last 10 for Gadelha going to decision. Jan each for her last 5 going to decision. I just think this fight should go to the judges' scorecards. I think this fight will be close. I think Gadelha has a shot to win the thing, but either way, I do think this fight has a very good chance to go to a decision. So the first play is going to be on this fight over 2.5 rounds at minus 290 on FanDuel. And the second pick is going to be on the main event between Teixeira and Santos. And I'll be taking Santos on the money line at minus 250 on FanDuel. A couple reasons why I like Santos in this fight. First of all, looking at the actual lines for this matchup, it is worth mentioning that Santos has not fought for a while, as his last appearance was in a title fight against Jon Jones. And in that fight, he ended up tearing ligaments in both of his knees. However, he was able to go the distance, and he ended up losing in a very, very close fight, which was pretty controversial, as it was a split decision. If Santos did not get injured with both his knees, he probably would have won the fight. But Santos is a very solid fighter, 6'2", 205 pounds in the light heavyweight division, 21 wins, 7 losses, 15 wins by knockout, ton of power, and I do think that he should be able to take care of business. If you look at his recent wins, he has some impressive wins. Beat Kevin Holland in 2018. He beat Jimmy Manuwa, was okay, but he also ended up beating the current light heavyweight champion in Jan Blachowicz. So he won that fight by knockout, and then he kind of went AWOL because he got injured. But he ended up defeating the current champion, and then he ended up losing in a 5-round, very close fight to Jon Jones. I think he's a very, very good contender, assuming that he won't lose too much from the surgery he's had on both his knees. Meanwhile, you have him going up against Glover Teixeira. Glover Teixeira, impressively, has had pretty much a second win to his career. As at the age of 41, he does enter this fight in a 4-fight win streak. However, if you look at his wins, I do give the victory over Krylov a lot of merit, because I think Krylov is a really good fighter. His other 3 wins are against Carl Robertson, who is okay, Cutelaba, who's not that great, and Anthony Smith, who has fallen down the rankings pretty significantly in his last couple of fights. So Teixeira's wins might seem impressive first glance. I'm not fully certain about that. The issue I have with Teixeira is the fact that he tends to start fights off pretty slowly before picking it up late, which is what you saw in the Smith fight, as he got pretty much rocked for about 2 rounds or so, round and a half, before he turned the tides in that fight and won handily. But the issue I have there is that Santos is a very quick starter, and he has a ton of power in his hands, significantly more power than Anthony Smith. And I think that if Teixeira gets clipped by either hand of Santos, I think he will hit the ground. Santos also has a lot of experience when it comes to jiu-jitsu. He's a black belt in Brazilian jiu-jitsu. He's also got a black belt, or whatever you want to call it, in Muay Thai. Very well-rounded fighter, and I do think that Santos should be able to take care of business and win this fight by knockout. He's roughly minus 140 win by knockout, but I do think there is a chance he could win this fight by decision, and he has shown in the past that he does have the stamina because of the fact he went the distance 5 full rounds with Jon Jones. So I think Santos should win this fight. There's a reason why the line has climbed up from roughly minus 230 on the opener or so to roughly minus 240 now, even minus 250 in some spots. So there is money coming in on Santos. I think it is warranted. But either or, the 2-pick parlay with Gadelha and Jan over 2.5 rounds at minus 290, and Santos at money line at minus 250 pays out at minus 113 on FanDuel, and that will be the 2-pick parlay. So once again, the 2 picks here for the UFC card this weekend will be on the 2-pick parlay with Gadelha over 2.5 rounds and Santos money line, which pays out at minus 113 on FanDuel, as well as Romanov to win by submission at plus 155 on FanDuel. That's been the Stelman Scott Selections. Good luck to all of you and your respective bets today. Bye, everyone.